Yo, this video is going to just be a build diary. Mr. Tricks in the comment asked if I had a POB or a build guide. I do not have a build guide, and this is not a build guide. I do not consider myself very good at making builds, but just to answer your question, I figured I would make something for you. So I'm just going to do a map real quick so other people can see what the gameplay looks like. This build is taken directly from Fubgun. So if you don't know who Fubgun is, he is a PoE content creator, very, very good at the game, very good at making guides too. So I will probably put his POB in the description. He doesn't know me from Adam, so hopefully he's okay with that. I'm crediting him directly so that you can go and look at his stuff. If I were to send you a POB export for mine, it would be confusing, probably. I'm assuming there's stuff that I've messed up on the build, but I'm doing this as an answer and also kind of as a diary for just my progression through the league. Lastly, I started as Lightning Arrow and had a lot of fun playing Lightning Arrow, and so I decided I'd do the same league start. However, last league I transitioned it into like kind of in-game tornado shot, which was really fun. This league though, Fubgun had posted a guide for how to take Lightning Arrow to end game while doing Magic Find, and so that is kind of what this build revolves around. So I'll show you the gear I'm wearing. I still have one piece of gear that I don't yet have that I will get before the league ends, but there's a pretty significant progression between where the build starts and where it ends. It was my league start. Oftentimes when I do a league, I like to start with one character that can kind of infinitely scale, and then if I choose to, I will sometimes go and build a completely different archetype. In this league's case, like, it would have been cool to also go build a bosser, because I did that big round of Barrio farms just to like look at the statistics and have fun. But this character was doing enough damage. Now, someone in my comments did say that you could do the Barrio farm and kill the guy before he phased. Just to be transparent, this does not have that kind of damage. The one thing that this does have, as opposed to like a pure bossing build, is that it has quite a bit of magic find on it. So I'll run one more map. Let's actually check the vault. So the magic find is really well catered towards running super juiced content, super juiced maps. It is not really set up for bossing because it revolves around Headhunter, at least that's got started. So let me just drop this stuff in here, and then we'll just kind of talk through. I think what I'll do is gear first, and then we'll look at skills. So first piece of gear, so when I started with Biscos and Tamings, and then not yoke here, the amulet that gives you precision, I had that in here, and then just resistance and life, movement speed, kind of on these pieces. Early league on your bow, you just want like flat Ellie as high as you can get it, and I had that for a while. And then on your quiver, it's attack speed, it's life, it's crit strike multi, it's damage on bows. First thing that I was wearing all magic flasks. First thing I actually saved up for was the Headhunter. I think Fub got this build set up and going in like 5 or 6 days. It took me like 5 or 6 weeks to get to this level. So just to be clear, I think Headhunters were maybe 50 div when I bought this one. But this just changes the way that the game feels when you play it. And then I think the next thing I actually went for, like there were small upgrades along the way, but the next thing I went for was this bow. It is a mirror tier bow, and you can go watch a video on mirroring if you've never done it before. But that was kind of the next piece that I went and did. I think I got Nimbus. Nimbus allows you to take returning projectiles out of your main skill link setup, and so you just get more raw damage out of your main skill link by having this here. It also makes it so that your arrows fire in random directions. If you're not wearing that, then I can't wear my gear. But if you're not wearing that, then your arrow arrows will fire in a particular direction, just like lightning shot normally would. So then I actually started getting some of this gear. So physical damage converted to cold damage, gain 1 rage on attack. So basically this bow is not an Ellie bow. This was different for me this league, figuring this out. This is a fizz bow, but the build kind of works towards converting all of your fizz damage, or a lot of your fizz damage, to Ellie damage. So you can see physical damage, enemies you kill have a 25% chance to explode, dealing 10th of the maximum life as fizz damage. I believe that a portion of that is converted as well. Strength and int. Int is very hard to find on the build. Strength is pretty hard to find on the build, so having that both there is really good. Fizz attack, crit strike. Bow attack fires 2 additional arrows is super huge on this. But I actually got this before I got that bow. 25% of physical damage converted to cold damage. And before I had the bow, I was actually not running the hatred aura, because the benefit of hatred is you and nearby allies gain 40% of physical damage as extra cold damage. So that's a big extra multiplier there. The abyssal sockets just give you flat Ellie, and then give you some additional things there. Show this one. 7% chance to gain phasing for 4 seconds on kill. That's important to have somewhere on your abyssals. The helm is mana reservation efficiency, reduced mana cost, rarity, and chaos. And then it has the rarity of items dropped by slain rare or unique enemies. So a lot of rarity there and some reservation efficiency. I do have sovereignty on the amulet. This is the one piece that still needs to be replaced. It'll be replaced for an amulet that just has sovereignty and then like 150 crit multi and 180 rarity, something like that. And then this is another mirror tier item. This one actually has a 0 mirror tier cost, so it just costs a mirror. And then this was the last thing that I replaced, which is another mirror tier ring. So Mr. Tricks, the build runs very well even from league start, but this is a multi-mirror tier build, so sorry if that's not what you were looking for. Dying Sun, pretty easy to get. Cinder Swallow, I'm not super familiar with this flask, but the benefits here that you want are the malediction, and ignited enemies take 10% increased damage. So that is a specific mod. So this is more expensive than a regular Cinder Swallow. Both the Progenesis and the Wind of the Prophet were maybe 100 div or so when I purchased it. So that's the gear. Real quick, I'll walk through Thread of Hope. This is not super good. I should probably upgrade that. But that was purchased really early on in the league. This one is several hundred divine, and literally all it gives me is 20 extra intelligence. So if I have a normal one of these, I get 20 less intelligence from this node. The reason why that's important is if I want to replace this with a different amulet, this one has Yoke of Suffering is what I used before I had gotten this, because it had attributes on it. This one has increased rarity because I no longer need them. But you have to use a regular, if you have a regular one here, then you need the Yoke of Suffering for the Onyx Amulet implicit effect. So Arcing Shot and Devastator, and Unspeakable Gifts. Kind of a far shot, another explode effect, and another explode effect. So on our chest piece we get explode. I'm sorry, on our bow we get the 25% chance to explode, 10th of their maximum life. Here you get 10th of their life as physical damage. Here you get quarter of their life as chaos damage. So there's 3 different kind of explode mechanics on the build because of that gem and then the mirror tier bow. On your Lethal Pride Timeless Jewel, basically you just want to get as many of the double damage mods as you can. I think I got like 3. I got this pretty early on, so it's definitely not the best one that you can get. Wait, I only saw 1. Ah, here you go. Deal double damage over there, and deal double damage over there. So there's 3 double damages on this particular one. There's a whole website dedicated to being able to search these. If you guys have questions on that, you can let me know in the comments. I hate the website. I'm not good at it, but that's what I used to try and make sure that I was maximizing the number of those deal double damages that I got. While you're working up to kind of in-game gear, you have a lot of dexterity along these nodes, but once you're kind of at this level, projectile speed is really good. I have one in there that is blind enemies while on attacks, and then as many spell suppressions as I need to get kind of the cap, and then some more projectile speed. I think movement speed is also good on these. The projectile speed though, and the reason why I kind of did that more than anything else is because of this. And for the most part, I've been using it while doing juiced maps, so Headhunter steals speed buffs pretty regularly. And then this cluster jewel down here is 3 increased attack speed, 35 increased effect to small passives, 4 increased damage, and 4 to all LE resist. So basically just each one of these is big additive gain. Just some standard dual crit multi with life and attack cast speed. We do have critical strike chance with hatred and attack damage with precision. I do think there's you can get a 3 mod that is a little bit better than this, but I just went for the 2. Again, got this relatively early on. We just have the trinket so that we can do an extra scarab. Let me see if there's anything else. One thing I will note is your mana can be pretty tight. You kind of dial it in by what level your precision is at. So my precision, see if we can find it. My precision is 14. Basically, you want to have at least 100-ish mana, and that's so that you can fire this skill and you can proc your sniper's mark. Yeah, this guy. So I'll look at skills in just a second. Let me make sure that we've got all gear out of the way. So cluster, lethal pride. Again, some dual crit multi. That guy was fairly expensive. One thing I will note on the mana side, oftentimes I will forget this little node right here. So you will eventually, you'll want to have increased mana reservation efficiency on your helm. You will want to have sovereignty on your neck, but you'll also want to make sure that you get this reservation efficiency over here, even if you have to drop like a damage node like this, or even like something like this, although you do have to balance your strength. So I will just note that reservation efficiency node is has tricked me in the past where I didn't have it on where I needed it on. Okay, we'll talk through the skills. So basically, your main skill is lightning arrow. This lightning arrow does have supported by level 1 Mirage Archer. If I'm not mistaken, those types of skills are new this league. I didn't realize that until much later. So this little, I can't move the mouse, but this little line item there that's right underneath requires level 70 and 155 dex. What that means is this 6 link basically becomes a 7 link. So that's lightning arrow. You've got inspiration support. You've got elemental damage with attack support. You've got trinity support. You've got greater fork support, and you've got invert the rules. I do think that crit multi here would actually be more damage, I believe. I think that invert the rules becomes a lot better once I get the amulet that we're talking about, but I just went ahead and put it in earlier. I've tested both. They feel pretty similar, but the damage is high. So how it feels in a normal map is maybe irrelevant. I don't know. Again, Sniper's Mark. This says supported by level 1 cast on critical strike. So this essentially becomes a 7-link setup. But we have Sniper's Mark, increased projectiles. We have Frenzy. We have Power Charge on critical, Mana Forged Arrows, Tornado, and Storm Rain. So Tornado will launch out when you are getting crits, and that Tornado will proc some of these other items. So that is how I'm making sure that I'm getting Sniper's Mark, Frenzy, and everything attached, is when this goes out, the Tornadoes will proc and come out. Let me see if I can show that actually. I still always test things in Blood Aqueduct because of back when Betrayal just came out, I would come here and run Betrayal even late into the league. I'm not seeing a tornado. Try again. No. No. It's a bummer team. I think my Mirage Archer is killing everything. Well, regardless, you can take my word or not. That's what's in the bow. In the gloves, we got Frost Blink, Blink Arrow, cooldown recovery support. Cooldown on these is very low, and so it's probably a DPS gain to put down a bunch of these guys. I normally just use Frost Blink for the instant, and then Mirage if I need something directly after, but you can see the cooldown recovery time is very quick. Steel Skin, Precision, Automation. Again, Precision, if you don't have as much reservation, you can have a much lower level Precision. Steel Skin becomes more important later on in your progression. At first, I was running Soul of Relikash to kind of deal with bleeds. But now I am running Soul of Yugal because of the 50% of hit damage from you and your minions cannot be reflected. So I get 50 reflect immunity there, and I get 55% cannot be reflected there. So basically, the reason why I did that was just so that I can run any modded map. You can use Risk Scarabs, etc., etc. So Steel Skin, at least my understanding of it, is that whenever automation triggers it, you become immune to bleeding. So that changed once I wanted to become immune to LA Reflect. Okay, and then in the helm, Purity of Elements makes you ailment immune. I did not have this on for a long time, and so only at the point where I started getting gear that had active chaos resistance that I actually switch over to Purity of Elements. Before that, I had, I believe, Grace. Haste, super good, and Val Haste is really nice whenever you're mapping and you get to a juicy boss. Enlighten 4, and Hatred. Hatred became important whenever I got the physical mirror tier bow. There are options, by the way, of just mirror tier high LE bows. There were not early on in the league, and so I did not try to go get one. And then by the time I was buying this, I saw an LE bow, but I just wanted to go ahead and try the Fizz Convert style of play. So, Ascendancies, Soul of Solaris, Soul of Yugal. That's the gear. Is there anything special to note over here? I will show you the Ascendancy real quick. So Gathering Winds, always first and foremost. Before I had really good damage output, I would have Focal Point allocated. After I got better damage output, I switched over to Ricochet. So I'll put a link down in the description that has kind of the progression, and actually the POB will show you different tiers of how the build can work. But that's just kind of been my progression as I've tried to figure the character out, and hopefully that's helpful. If it's not, feel free to let me know, and keep enjoying the game, guys. See y'all.